Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Pulls Pod. Thank you very much for tuning in last week. If you did so, if you haven't, and this is your first time, you can find the first episode with myself, Adam, and Isaac on all streaming platforms, such as your Spotify's, your Amazons, and Deezer's. Other platforms may exist. Joining us this week, we have Paul and Dan. Gentlemen, how are we?
Hello.
Evening, all good.
Yeah, all good, mate. Cheers.
Excellent. So, straight into it. Two games this week. Away at Solihull on Saturday gone, and at home to AFC Fylde last night, which saw the return of Kevin Phillips. Looking at Saturday, first of all, unfortunately, none of us were able to attend, so we can only go off second-hand accounts and watching the goals back. From what you've heard, from what you've seen maybe on Twitter, and if you have watched the goals back, listen to the radio, was there anything in there? I mean, I hope so because we did score 4 goals. But was there anything in there that would lead you to think that we've got a shot at playoffs this season?
I think if I'm being honest, I think if it shows anything, it shows that we the grit and the determination to actually get a result shone quite a lot on Saturday from what I could see. The way obviously the goal went in, Solihull come back, then we went in front, then obviously Solihull went in front and stuff like that. I think for me, I don't think the conditions were great, but I mean, if you look at it, I think potentially, hopefully, it's the start of something good. I think Solihull are there or thereabouts every season. I said so to go there and actually beat them was great. So I mean, it gives us some thought. Hopefully, it will, but I think at the minute it's sort of early days for me.
Well, if nothing else, we're hard to beat.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, it it's hardly anything but boring at the minute, isn't it? I mean, we've lost what, one of the last 8 games. If nothing else, I'll give this to Darren Saul. He made us hard to beat. The only issue is we couldn't score. But now we seem to be. Are we a little bit weaker at the back? I don't think so. We are conceding away, but we're keeping clean sheets at home. But we're scoring goals. So I mean, we could have it back to the old Newcastle entertainers. If I'd rather win 4-3 than 1-0.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at some of the goals that we conceded on Saturday. You mentioned that we are still somewhat defensively sound. It does seem that way. Is there an argument perhaps that Brad Young might be on his last chance with some of the fans? Because some of those goals conceded, they were a little bit flappy, let's say the least.
I think well, obviously you go back to the York game. I think the free kick, yeah, although it was low and it was round the wall, I think he probably should have done better. Do I think Smith deserves a shot considering the last few games? I do. I think Young needs to be obviously taken out of the spotlight a little bit, and obviously Smith given his opportunity to do what he needs to do. But definitely, I think he does need a bit of time on the side for me. Just obviously the last few games, some of the decisions he's making and stuff like. I know he's only young and he's got to learn from that, but I do think we're in a competitive game. You need to compete, so I think putting Smith back in goal would sort of bring Young on again. I think if he had a couple of weeks on the sideline and had to do more in training to get himself back in that position, then I think that's something that could be done or should be done even.
I think it's six and one, half a dozen the other, to be quite honest. I think technically they're both probably about the same level. Um, Brad Young, he is a young keeper, needs the experience. This is exactly what Leicester want him to do: is come out here and play games. He is going to concede goals and he is going to make silly mistakes. He's, what was he, 21, 22 most? His The amount of goals he's conceded 18 goals in 11 games, which isn't great. 3 clean sheets, but it's it's a hard one, isn't it? It's, do you keep faith with a young lad and keep him going, and hopefully he turns a bit of a corner and starts pulling out consistent clean sheets, or do you take him out, put a more experienced goalkeeper in there, certainly an older goalkeeper in there, and hope that he keeps the clean sheets? And in turn, you're probably going to destroy the young lad's confidence at the same time. But I think you just keep him in there, to be honest. I think the back four that we've got it's an older back four, save for Dodsey at right back or Sharon at right back. And I think the experience that they have in the games that they've played, especially, I mean, Parks and Waterford, they've probably got what, best part of 900 Football League games between them, should be able to give a young goalkeeper the confidence and pick him up when he's not playing that well. And that can only be good for him at the end of the day as well, to be quite honest.
I think the problem in that position isn't it? Like if you make a mistake, it's going to be costly all the time. And I think,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if centre half makes a mistake, you've got somebody behind you, haven't you? You've got
exactly.
the net. Yeah.
I mean, you elaborate on the fact that he is young. I get that, and for me, I think it's more. We know what football fans are like, and when these mistakes don't like sort of drop out of his game, you know what football fans are like when they get on their back and stuff like that. But I mean, I agree with sort of getting the experience that he needs. There's nothing better than experience. So yeah, I think for me, I think maybe it's just a couple of weeks. Maybe he's just take him out a little bit. But I think you've made a good point there, Dan.
I mean, how long have we been talking about goalkeeping positions though? We haven't had a decent keeper since I'd say a decent keeper, that's probably a bit harsh. We haven't had a consistent goalkeeper since Scott Loach.
That's the name that comes to my mind, yeah.
Yeah, Scott Loach was probably the last keeper that I can think of. And then Trevor Carson before that, who were consistently good. I mean, Scott Loach didn't miss a game for 2 years. And I mean, the thing that I always think about with Scott Loach is, do you remember that game we played against Guiseley? We won 1-0. Everybody always remembers that Jonathan Frank's goal, but nobody remembers the absolute worldie of a save Loach pulled off to keep it 1-0. So it's just, we need to find a good, decent goalkeeper at this level who can pull off those kinds of performances week in and week out. But then that's like saying, I'll go and buy a 20-goal-a-season striker as well. You don't know where it's going to come from, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we've got that now as well in Manny anyway, but it's finding the rest.
I mean, he's certainly hit the ground running, Manny D. And if we find someone like that in goal, if it does turn out to be Brad Young, excellent. As you say, he is only 22, and it's why he's come back on loan to us to get experience. And I suppose, as you say, he's got the experience in front of him in Waterfall and Parks, and as long as Waterfall doesn't get sent off again, we'll hopefully manage to build a base from there. I mean, he's come back and he seems determined to make up for his mistakes. Yeah. And to be fair to Waterfall, he's not been sent off since. So, we can be thankful for that at least. Moving on to yesterday, 2-0, very good victory. It seemed as though it was going to be one of those nights, certainly until Parks got the first one, where the endeavour was there, the creation was there, but there was just no one on the end of the crosses.
First 15 minutes, I wish I'd gone to Benidorm with my dad. Honestly, I was sat there in the millhouse and I just thought to myself, this is one of those games where it's an absolutely dreadful 0-0 draw. It's absolutely Baltic, no sides doing anything. To be honest, I thought they were dreadful. I know Kevin Phillips has come out last night and said that his usual spiel of what he gave us last year after a pretty poor performance. But I didn't think they were anything special. Nick Horton's their best player. I think is he joint top scorer in the league? But he's just got an absolute wonderful left foot. But apart from that, they had absolutely nothing. They had one chance first 45 seconds, and then I don't think Brad Young's done anything, to be quite honest. I don't think they threatened us. I thought defensively they were quite poor, to be honest. I didn't think they passed very well. But then again, we didn't take advantage of that first half. And I was just sat there 20 minutes in and I thought, this game is screaming out for Loire just to come on and just give a bit of bite and a bit of skill. If we've got someone who's got a bit of skill there and can deliver a ball in, we've got half a chance here. And second half, we were a different team anyway. We came off fighting second half and I thought we were really good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think for me, I think the whole of the first half was just something that's worth forgetting, to be honest with you. As poor as they were, we just couldn't sort of get that final effort to go in. And I mean, obviously the second half we were a completely different team. I think it had Mancini come on a little bit earlier, I think we probably would have unlocked them a little bit sooner. But I mean, obviously Parks. I think the thing with Parks' goal is you could actually see it before it went in. It was one of them weird goals. It was coming over, and you knew
there was gaps everywhere.
Yeah, it was, and you could just see where it was going to fall, and you saw where Parks was. You could actually see the goal before it went in. But yeah, I just thought there was a couple of things that could have been a little bit different to try and sort of break the game down. And I thought Mancini should have been brought on a bit earlier. I think Joe Gray maybe should have had a little bit more time, but then again, obviously his legs were going by the looks of it. But yeah, I thought Charman was one of them games where he's just everything he's done was brilliant. And Sharon, I just wanted him to take the defender on instead of just playing that early ball in. There was a few times where he did that. We were unlucky for someone not to go on the end of it. I just wanted him to take it a little bit further and try and take the defender on more than he'd done. And I think again we probably would have we probably would have scored a couple more goals. But I think overall the first half we can forget about that. Second half I thought was really good, and we got out of it. I think what we deserved. I thought we were far better than them. Again, as Dan's already said, they were very poor. And I think obviously you could just see the way that they were playing. I mean, in that first half, I did say like this is going to be these can nick it 1-0, and it was going to be. It felt like one of them games of fair.
Yeah.
But you could just see it. It was just reminiscence of Pools, obviously last season when we weren't playing very well. They wanted to go a goal up and then just defend by the looks of it. Overall, I thought the second half we thoroughly deserved the win. And like I say, I'd already said to Jack, but I was over the moon with Medine getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the issue with playing what is a very, very good defensive midfielder at right back. Obviously, he's played right back quite a bit, but he's obviously going to be quite defensively minded because that's his job at the end of the day. I see him as the long-term replacement for Featherstone, in all honesty. And if you had to ask me who's been our player of the season so far, it's Nathan Sharon, without a shadow of a doubt. I think he's been terrific.
Outstanding.
Yeah. We paid money for him, and to be honest, we're getting our absolute money's worth out of him. It's when Dodsey comes back, does Dodsey get straight back in? And if so, where are you putting Sharon? Who are you dropping? The Mancini debate for me it's exactly the same as Molineux under Challoner. And I think he's a victim of the system that we play. Like Molineux was a victim of the system because we played three at the back with wing backs. He was never going to get back in defence, so he was never going to play, even though he's our best player. Mancini technically is probably our best player as well, but it's where'd you put him? You're not going to drop Charman. Charman, since he's been fit, has been outstanding, to be quite
Absolutely.
honest. I mean, Joe Gray's scoring goals. That's all I want from Joe Gray, to be quite honest. Campbell's starting to come out of his shell as well. I thought he had a really slow start to the season, but I think his last 2 or 3 performances have been really good. And you're not dropping money, are you? To be quite honest, we saw the crack with that with Darren Sarll, didn't we? I hang it back to that was almost akin of dropping Alan Shearer for Paul Robinson. It was you're just asking for trouble, though, aren't you? You're just like he scored about 30 goals in all competitions last season. He scored 9 in the league this season. You're dropping him. You're just asking for trouble, aren't you?
I mean, he came back and proved the point, didn't he? He came back and scored a hat-trick off the bench. Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was. Maybe that's the point that Saul was trying to prove. But to be honest, he probably did it in completely the wrong way.
Yeah,
quite possibly. Oh, off you go. Yeah, go on.
No, I was just agreeing with what Dan said. I mean, I do think like at the minute, like sort of, if Manny's not on point or not on his game, it is like playing with 10 men. Because you can see, I mean, from the sidelines and you're watching, you think, please, Manny, just chase it down or get yourself. I mean, one thing that I did pinpoint him last night was like I think he won his first header like in the 70th minute of that game last night. But then I thought it was the right thing taking him off last night and obviously bringing Gary on at that particular time. But I just when he isn't on point or he's not like sort of within the game, you may as well not even have him on the pitch. But then obviously you go back to like sort of he needs service, and you look at some of the goals that he scored last season. A lot of them were from very good crosses, or the ball was into his feet on the edge of the box, and he was just turning like I just don't think we've seen enough of that like this season, sort of up to now. So hopefully,
he is very good on the turn.
Yeah,
as soon as he gets that into feet, touch out his feet and bang it away. It's on target.
For such a tall player, like he's just so good with his feet, but we're just not seeing enough of it. And I think obviously, hopefully, now that obviously we've got 2 wins under our belt. Like obviously we've got some grit going forward and everything now. So hopefully, I mean, Barnet on Saturday is going to be a tough game, I think. But hopefully now that we've found found that movement, hopefully now we can kick on.
I mean, I don't think we've got anything to fear from Barnet, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
certainly not at the moment. I know we're what, the 12th, 13th at the moment. 12th, yeah.
2 points off the playoffs.
2 points off the playoffs. We've got one loss in 7, which, to be honest, they should be worried about coming to us. We're really hard to break down, which is great, especially at home. We're hard to break down. I mean, how many defeats have we got at home this season? I mean, two defeats at home all season. Fair enough, the others have been draws, but we're hard to beat. Teams have got to show up here and they have to come out, and them coming out allows us to exploit spaces.
Yeah, I mean, Barnet's away form as well this season so far, even though they are, in the top 3. They're away at Yeovil tonight as well. We're recording this on Wednesday, so we don't know the result of that game yet. But their away form has been a lot less than their home form. If their away form matched their home form, they'd probably be far out in front at the moment in the league. So it is true. I mean, they are where they are because they are one of the best teams in the league. But at the same time, as you said, we're very difficult to beat at home, and it is worth taking that into account.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And looking slightly further ahead to the future, Barnet being part of the 6-game run that we're about to go on, we've got 6 games, including Oldham on New Year's Day, before we break for a 10-day break, providing we don't get through in the trophy. How would you potentially see those going? Is it? I wouldn't call it a defining run in the season because we've had more games in less time before, but the Christmas period is one of those times where if you can hit the ground running, it does set you up for the second half of the year. So to recap, we've got Barnet at home, then we've got Tamworth in the FA Trophy, then we've got Southend away, Yeovil at home, Gateshead away, and then Oldham at home on New Year's Day. How much do you potentially see us getting out of those games?
They're all difficult. Roots Hall for Southend away, it's always a difficult place to go to. I went there away last season. We won 3-2, but it was an absolute grind. But it's always a tough place to go. Gateshead away on Boxing Day, it's going to be absolutely Baltic. And I don't think we've ever beaten Gateshead away in the league since we've been in this division, if I remember rightly. I think we've got about 2 draws and 3 defeats, and not to mention the 7-1 that we got.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to remember that one.
Oh, that was dreadful, wasn't it? But they're all tough. Oldham's always a tough place to go to as well. It's always Oldham at home. Playing
I was going to say that one's at home, to be fair.
Yeah, thank God. That's always bloody phrasing and all, isn't it? But they're all tough games. But Barnet are where they are because they're a decent team. Southend's always going to be difficult away, and we always struggle against Oldham as well, to be honest. But to be honest, how many games was it? 6, 2, 4, 5.
So it's 5 league games and also Tamworth in the FA Trophy.
We get 10 points out of those. I'm absolutely buzzing, to be quite honest.
I think I have 10 points, to be fair. 110.
Yeah, I think.
A draw.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, we've got 3 home games, 2 away in the league. Yeovil, you potentially look at, they're just outside the playoffs until they faced York at the weekend when they got battered, for want of a better word. They were in very good form, but we'll see how they go tonight as well against Barnet. And if that leads into a bit of a rough patch when they play us, you never know. Southend away. Oh, go on.
Sorry, York are the best team in the league, really, aren't they? They're going to win the league. Let's be honest.
To be fair,
I know they got battered last night, but that's the first time somebody's probably battered them.
They're a very well coached side.
Yeah, they are. And they've got the money, and they've backed the manager, and they've got the money behind them, haven't they? So I'd be very surprised if York didn't win the league. So I'd give them that, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Out of the 2 games, obviously, between playing York and obviously playing Forest Green, obviously, I mean, I didn't really think Forest Green were that much when we played them down there. It was 1-0. But I think, obviously, for me, the York game, although we scored 3 goals, the way they split that pitch and used the width of that pitch, and I'm surprised it wasn't more, to be honest with you. But again,
absolutely.
as poor as we were, scoring 3 goals against arguably the best team in the league at the minute, it shows some promise. And I think obviously, if you look at like sort of the Barnet game, the Southend game, if Saturday's game at Solihull goes by anything, then I mean, again, like Dan said, we maybe shouldn't fear anything really now because we've proved that we can go to a team that are in that like sort of top 8, whatever, and actually do the business over there. So I think for me, I think Dan's 10 points I think would be great. Obviously, you've got to look to win everything at home. Obviously,
it's the old Neil Cooperism, isn't it? As long as we win our own games and we pick up decent points away, you'll be there or
thereabouts. Be in and
thereabouts.
around, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we win our own games and we pick up a point where we need to away from home, we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Yeovil on like the week before, 4 days before Christmas, it's a hell of a journey. The weather will not be great. It will be Baltic. They'll not want to be up here that time of the year. So I think we've got to capitalise on that. I think Gateshead away. I'd love to go up there and obviously do the job on them and sort of come away with a win.
They're decent though.
But I mean, anything from last year. I mean, they were brilliant last year. I think the horrible 7. I mean, I got home from Gateshead when the 7th goal went in. I pulled up at my address when the 7th goal went in. It was that bad. But again, should we really fear it? I think we'll take a lot of fans up there. And again, I think Oldham on New Year's Day game, I think we've got to use our home advantage as best we can.
Yeah.
Like I say, when the Vic's bouncing, it's not a nice place to go. And it's obviously it's up to the team on the pitch to get that place bouncing. And I think obviously the last 2 games, if we can carry on, there's no reason why come sort of like over that Christmas period we can't have a very good Christmas period obviously going forward.
To be fair, you make a very good point about Yeovil as well. Just before Christmas, it is a hell of a journey. That I mean, I did it on a Tuesday night and didn't get back till about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was it's not the nicest. I mean, we went away to Wealdstone, didn't we, last year? 2 days before Christmas. That was a Saturday as well. And I mean, I'll take another 4-4 if they want to give us a 4-4 just before Christmas. Be a nice bit of entertainment for everyone. But yeah, that is quite true. I mean, turning to the trophy as well. Tamworth at home, pretty much every tweet, every Facebook post that I saw desperately wanted the likes of Darlington, the likes of Stockton, the usual suspects. Unfortunately for Darlington, they've got York away, so unless they pull off something rather dramatic, I think we safely say we won't be meeting them in the next round. Is the trophy a distraction this season, or is it something you potentially think Wembley?
I mean, listen, every club would love a trip to Wembley. But I think if we can get our feet going and we can make that run to the playoff, like we say, there's always that one team that makes that run from about Christmas that just climbs the table slowly and quietly, and then they pop up, obviously, in the playoffs at the right time. I'd sooner want to be in the playoffs and getting the chance of promotion than obviously going for the trophy or the Vars, whatever. I think if I'm being honest, I think that's definitely the way I would want to go. I think I'd quite happily sacrifice a cup run to get promotion. I might be shot down for that, but definitely I think the league's got to be the priority for me.
I could care less about the FA Trophy, to be quite honest. I'm more bothered about getting this club back in the Football League, to be quite honest. We're a Football League club. I don't really care about the FA Trophy. I don't want to. We've been robbed at Wembley twice, so not going to Wembley is not going to bother me anymore.
That was going to be the next point. I was going to send around the sweepstake to see where they'll move the playoff final this year if we get to the playoff final.
Oh well, yeah, we'll end up playing at Stoke or something. Or
no, they'll send us to Plymouth. They'll send us as far away as we possibly can. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It was like when we played Torquay. It was just like, we'll play it in Bristol. Well, that's hardly in the middle, is it?
Honestly, I got their point because their point was, a lot of teams were resurfacing after COVID and the Euros were on, so they couldn't use certain stadiums and such. It just felt a bit odd that the only stadium that they could find that would offer it to host
Bristol City
was Bristol City. As lovely as the stadium was, by the way, because I went and the facilities are excellent.
Yeah, it was good.
See why it is a very good stadium, but I mean, I can't remember the exact timings of how long it takes to get to Torquay from Bristol, but. I mean, it took us a lot longer than it did Torquay.
Yeah. It took me 5.5 hours, and I think it took Torquay for about an hour.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, honestly. But to be fair, we came out on the right end of it.
We did.
It could have
Just
been
never kicked
power.
on, did we?
Yeah, it is a shame. I mean, to be fair, did you? Was there a sense that when their goalkeeper scored that we'd be stuck in this division forever?
I'll
Oh,
tell
massive.
you.
100%.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what the issue with that was. Right. So when Armstrong scored, I didn't watch any more of the game. I looked at the concrete for the next 90 odd minutes. I couldn't watch it. And when it got to extra time, I think it was Danny Wright missed an absolute sitter.
He did, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, thank God for that. And the fella behind me, and I still blame him to this day, he turned around, looked at me, and went, "We've won this." And then Coverland scored bloody 30 seconds later, and I was like, yeah. You didn't say things like that, bloody 2 minutes into extra time, and they've got a free kick.
Clearly, he hasn't been watching this club as long as he thinks he has. If he thought that was it,
I was just like, "You must be joking! I can't believe you said that." But no, it was great. It was a great game.
Fair, Pool's nothing straightforward, is it? Really? Let's face it.
Never is.
Certainly not. I mean, to be fair,
I always thought.
I said the penalty shootout as well. Both teams missing the first two penalties. Like we were watching it. I think, to be fair, both of our penalties were saved, and both of their penalties were terrible penalties. I think Danny Wright, it was who took the second one, slipped and put it over the crossbar.
I don't think I've ever seen Danny Wright miss a penalty. There you go. And I think that one there was that was the omen showing us that we were going to do well that game. So when he done that, to see the way that Danny Wright takes penalties, and the fact that obviously every time I'd seen him, like when they play on the telly, whenever they got one, he'd never miss it. And then for some God knows what reason, he
inexplicable.
Goes I mean, I loved it. Don't get me wrong; it was brilliant. But luck was on our side that day, definitely. I mean,
the funniest part of those four penalties as well was after those four penalties, the standard of the penalties was absolutely superb for the rest of the penalty shootout. Like, to be fair, even the one that Brad James got to, it wasn't a terrible penalty. It was a good save because it was deflected onto the bar. It was a good save. And say in the end, it basically went our way.
I always said that's when Raj should have sold the club. Sort of, we've been promoted back in the Football League. There will be decent suitors there. That's when he should have sold up. Sort of, it's the old Batman, isn't it? Either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's exactly what's happened to him.
My favourite ever film, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw it, honestly, I can quote a lot of that film. But yeah, there is an argument for that. To be fair, I mean, the value of the club certainly has never been higher than that moment. When we got back in, especially the crowds that we were getting as well, because off the back of coming after the pandemic, where no one could get into the stadiums, everyone was just happy to be back in the ground, and we had the momentum going forwards. And unfortunately, it just sort of snowballed from there. Bringing it back to this season, we've spoken about the trophy, discarding the trophy. Obviously, we don't want to lose any games, but if we have to discard the trophy to get to the playoffs, do you think there's a reasonable expectation we'll get into the playoffs?
Don't see why not. I mean, it goes down to what? It goes down to seventh, doesn't it? The playoffs. It does,
yeah.
So, and we're the only team I think we're still the only team who finished outside the top four to still be promoted through the playoffs in the National League, aren't we?
I believe that's right. Yeah, we were certainly the first at the time.
We were the first to do it. Yeah. I don't know if we still are. I can't remember someone might have gone up in between, but there's a reason why they're down to seventh. There's no reason why we can't do it. Seventh is a realistic position for us, to be quite honest, and I'd take it every day of the week.
As bad as we've been to our position now, I mean, I know we're 12th and there's a few teams in between us in the playoffs, but the fact that we have played some terrible football this season, we can't deny that. But the fact that, as it stands, results go our way. Results go our way Saturday, and we beat Barnet. We're in seventh. That we're 2 points off the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I think looking at the table now, it'd be great if we can get there. And I hope that we're that one team that just obviously, as of now, just takes the bull by the horns, and we are that team that just slowly climbs the table quietly, and then just nestles ourselves in amongst it. Whether we finish seventh, whether we finish fourth, anywhere in the playoffs, I think it
doesn't matter. Does it?
No, it doesn't. I think,
as long as we're in there, I think you've got to say, as long as we're in there, you've got a chance, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a lottery. When the playoffs are literally a lottery. In every league, form goes out the window when it comes to the playoffs. It's like derby games. Like when you go and play a derby game, your form goes out the window. So for me, when you go into playoffs in any league, it becomes a lottery because it's one game at a time. So yeah, I hope that come the end of the season, we've obviously got them extra games at the end of the season that we can go on and in good form do the job.
Yeah, very true. I mean, hopefully we do finish as, I mean, it sounds a bit cliche to say as high as possible, but fourth and fifth will get the home tie. I mean, when we got into it, we had the difficult away tie at Stockport, if you like, but we did have that home tie where we had the fans in against Bromley, went 3-0 up quite quickly. I think 2 away games in the playoffs, a one-legged affair, that's very difficult. It is a lottery. Obviously, we can beat anyone. I mean, if we keep scoring 3s and 4s away from home, obviously, I don't think we're going to have much of a problem. But if we're away to, say, your Forest Greens and your Yorks and your Barnets, and then away to another one of those teams again, and that's before you reach Wembley, that might be a lot. But you never know. I mean, it could certainly happen still.
It's the Hartlepool United way, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the most
Do you know it
difficult way.
easily?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yeah.
Do you know it easy? So, to be honest, I'd rather have the most difficult one because we'll probably come out on top of it.
To be fair, Wembley against York or Gateshead would be a brilliant occasion, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, it would.
it'd be summit, definitely.
Wembley
It'd be
against
better than that,
Gateshead would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because obviously, given what happened to them last season, the fact that they couldn't go up last season, then only did they not go up by the playoffs, they went to Wembley in the cup and lost. So it'd be interesting to have them back at Wembley for a playoff final, whether it be against us or somewhere else, just to see what might actually happen.
I mean, they were robbed last season. To be fair, let's face it. I think the stuff that's in place was obviously it wasn't good for them clearly, but I think no one can deny a sort of northeast or a northern final would be great. But again, it's one of them. It's you to get promoted out of this team, you've got to beat the best team. So for me, you just got to take each game as it comes, and obviously just go for it as best you can. Yep, a northeast derby would be great, but let's just take it as it is.
I'm sure all 17 other fans would love it.
Aye, absolutely, and they'll love it even more. They'll love it even more when the Northeast final gets moved to Plymouth as well.
Yes.
That will probably happen. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I think that reaches the end of the episode. Thank you very much for joining me, and to everyone listening. Hopefully you'll tune in next time when we'll have 2 new people talking about Pulse. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.